Okay, let's be honest. Are you tired of pulling sponsorship prices pretty much out of thin air? Well, today we're swapping all that guesswork for a clear, defensible strategy. We're going to dive into the path framework from Amplified Concepts and figure out how to price your sponsorships with total confidence. If this image hits a little too close to home for you, hey, you are not alone. It's that classic feeling, right? You've got these incredible assets to offer, but when it comes to putting a price on them, it feels like a total shot in the dark. It's a super common and, let's face it, frustrating problem. But the good news is there's a much better way. And the ripple effects of all that guesswork are huge. We're talking inconsistent pricing, you're undervaluing your assets, and then you have those super awkward sponsor conversations. Without a shared, transparent model, you can't even get your own team on the same page about what you're really worth. So let's just go ahead and give this thing a name: the pricing guesswork problem. Now that we've called it out, let's talk about how to solve it for good. This image really says it all, doesn't it? The goal is to move from that tangled chaos of guesswork to the clean, straight line of clarity. What you need is a defensible price range, a real roadmap that empowers your team to lead with value, not just some random number you pulled out of a hat. So, what's the solution? It's the path framework from Amplified Concepts. Think of it as a system, a process specifically designed to translate the unique value of your audience into a price that is clear, logical, and totally justifiable. So, what is the secret sauce behind this path framework? How does it actually work? Let's break it all down. And no, PATH isn't just some clever name. It's actually an acronym that represents the four key steps of this whole strategic process. This isn't just another calculator you plug numbers into. It's a system where every single input has a real strategic purpose behind it. First step, P is for present. This is where you start with an objective baseline using industry standard CPMs. Next, A is for assess. Here's where you analyze your unique value multipliers, things like audience engagement or how niche you are. Then T is for transition. This step moves you from just raw data to a recommended price that has a negotiation range already built in. And finally, H is for harness. You take the final output and use it as a ready-to-go copy-paste summary for your media kit. You see, that baseline CPM, that's really just the starting point. It's just the beginning. Your real value, the thing that sponsors are actually paying for, lies in the context. We're talking niche fit, engagement rates, and exclusivity. All the things that make your audience uniquely valuable. And the impact here is massive. We're not talking about a small bump. A highly engaged, super niche audience can command rates 2, 3, even 5 times higher than general content. That strategic context can literally turn a 1x baseline into a 3.5x adjusted value, or maybe even more. Okay, now let's see how this framework becomes more than just a calculator. It's actually a really powerful tool for strategic exploration. You can pressure test all kinds of different scenarios to see the trade-offs. For example, what happens if you have fewer sponsors? Well, that means a higher perceived value for each slot. But what if you have more sponsors? That can increase your total revenue, but it might dilute your audience's attention. This calculator lets you see those trade-offs instantly. And that's really the beauty of this whole thing. It's flexibility. Nothing is set in stone. You can play with the inputs, you can challenge the assumptions, and you can explore all these different scenarios until you find the perfect fit for both you and your sponsors. All right, you've crunched the numbers, you've tested your strategy. Now, how do you turn all that data into a done deal? So the final output you get is actually really simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You get a baseline CPM, you get a recommended price that includes all your strategic multipliers, and you get a suggested range to take into your negotiations. And get this, the calculator even gives you a ready-made copy-paste summary for your media kit. So you can lead the conversation with your value, your impressions, your engagement, your niche fit, before you even start talking about specific numbers. Now, here's a fantastic pro tip for you. If a sponsor pushes back on your price, don't just defend the number. Instead, walk them through the logic, show them the multipliers. This one simple shift turns a tense negotiation into a strategic partnership, positioning you as data-driven, not just arbitrary. At its core, a tool like this is all about starting a conversation, not ending one. It's about creating a shared understanding of value so that you and your sponsor can align on a strategy before you make a final decision. So I'll leave you with this one question. Is your sponsorship pricing based on real strategy, or is it still based on guesswork? If you're ready to make a change, then it's time to stop guessing and really start strategizing.